Hello, I'm Patrick Schmitt, Master of Wine and Editor-in-Chief at The Drinks Business, and today I'm going to present some wines from Vik, a winery in Chile that caught my attention when I was in South America last November. And I'm sure you can see why. I mean, just look at this bottle, and well, how it looks back. It's not often you're stared at by the wine on your table. Indeed, even the bottles that aren't adorned by such arresting artwork are striking. Then there's the name, Vik. It's certainly different from the casas and bodegas you normally get from Chile. And that's because the wine's creator is not a Latin. The property is named after its Norwegian founder, Alexander Vik, an entrepreneur with properties around the world, including hotels in Uruguay, Milan, as well as one at the Vik estate in Chile's Puybel Valley, where these wines come from. Indeed, like the bottles, this Vik venue is surprising. As a steel-clad building high on a hill, the hotel resembles a stranded spaceship when seen from afar. Once inside, you catch sight of the valleys and vineyards below and the mountains beyond, while, should you opt for a swim in Vik's infinity pool, there's an uninterrupted view of a vast reed-lined lake in the distance. The winery, meanwhile, is a huge modernist structure with a water-covered roof for aesthetic and practical reasons. It cools the building. Inside, amongst the tanks and barrels, some of which are being made from Vik's own oak trees, are huge pictures and sculptures. Alexander Vik is a prominent art collector. But it's not just the packaging, architecture and setting that's remarkable about Vik, it's the wines too. I'm a fan of the fine wines of Chile, but my experience has been focused on the Cabernet Sauvignons of the Maipo Valley. The likes of Almaviva, Don Melchor, Casa Real and Viñedo Chadwick. But last year I got to know the top red wine blends of the Puybel Valley, and I was impressed. Where their Maipo equivalents have masses of intense blackcurrant flavours and firm tannins, that is the slightly grainy, dry sensation you get from concentrated young red wines. The ones from Puybel have more red berry aromatics and softer tannins on the finish. But that's a general conclusion from the region. Now I'm going to look at 3 wines from the Vik vineyards, which are based in the Puybel Valley, but within a specific and distinctive area called Milahue, meaning place of gold. Chosen by Vik for its potential to make reds to rival the finest in the world, these are serious drops. And the top one, costing £100, is priced on a par with great Cabernets from Bordeaux, Tuscany or California. Even this one, the Vik entry point red, called Mia Cala, at more than £30 is in fine wine territory. It's a bit like choosing to buy a car such as Tesla. There are cheaper variants, but the base model is still a pricey piece of kit. Made from a blend of red grapes including Merlot, Syrah, Cabernet Franc and Chile's signature grape Cabernet, it is in fact dominated by the world-famous Cabernet Sauvignon. This sample here is from the 2015 vintage, so it's already 5 years old and therefore ready to drink. So, what's it like? Well, it has an open, expressive nose with crushed red berry fruit and herbs such as sage, complemented by chocolate-dusted creamy cappuccino, no doubt from the oak barrels used to age the wine. Now in the mouth, well, it's red cherry and raspberry, plums too, a touch of dried mint, then soft vanilla and a lovely dry, gently gripping sensation from the ripe tannins. On the finish, you get a touch of roasted coffee and mocha. What I like is that it's got a lightness. It's not too heavy, weighty, or overripe in raisins, so it's got masses of bright fruit, and it's still easy to drink. If you're planning dinner, well, I'm no sommelier or chef, but it would be perfect for any roasted meat and herbs. I'm favouring pork with sage. Next, costing around £50, is the midpoint of the Vik red wine range, called La Puybel. Meaning the most beautiful, the name refers to the choice of artwork for the bottle, which was the most beautiful from a range put forward by 20 international artists. In fact, it's by a Chilean painter who based the image on a mythical Norse figure called Freya. Containing a blend of Cabernet, Cabernet Sauvignon and Syrah grapes, La Puybel spent more than 2 years maturing in oak barriques, and the sample comes from the 2013 vintage. Now, let's try it. Firstly, the aromatics. These comprise ripe raspberry, then tobacco notes, a touch of cigar box, along with plums, black cherries. As for the taste, well, it certainly doesn't seem 8 years old, with so much juicy red berry fruit, some cherry and blackcurrant too. There's also plenty of fine, dry, mouth-cleaning tannins, coffee, toast, cedar, and the wine has persistence. And by that, I mean the flavours linger long after you've swallowed it. In short, it's a go anywhere, do anything type of wine that makes me crave a meal outside with red meat cooked over charcoal. Now, let's look at our next and final wine. And this is it, the flagship, the £100 top drop from Vik, containing mostly Cabernet Sauvignon, but also a touch of Cabernet Franc, Carmenère and Merlot. Back to car comparisons. If this were a motor, it would be four-wheel drive and supercharged, but sleek and elegant too. In other words, it's powerful with plenty of grip, but not heavy and angular. Now, in terms of aromas, well, it has this wonderful open red berry fruit sweetness, almost black cherry jam slathered on summer pudding, and then this creamy note with a touch of vanilla. The wine though is dry, with a lovely fine grip on the finish, a little like sucking on a lolly stick. And then there are the appealing combination of flavours from buttered toast to fresh raspberries, along with stewed plums, tobacco leaves and cedar, as it starts to show some signs of age. It's also lively and structured, meaning this is a wine made to last. Indeed, like a house of stone, it will develop a more attractive character as it weathers with time. As for food, well, anything chewy and powerfully flavoured will do. A rack of lamb with rosemary springs to mind. So, there you have it. And now you've had a taste of Vik. I should add that there's a whole world of Chilean fine wines just waiting to be sampled. On the other hand, you can stick with Vik. Thank you for listening.